Many years ago when I was in the seminary, we had these summer sessions, and the rector got up, and it was either this Sunday or the following Sunday, and I think it might have been. And this is New Jersey in the summertime, and it was probably 90, 95 degrees out, and non-air conditioned chapel. It had a high roof, but nevertheless it was still humid. And Monsignor Shea went on for 25, 30 minutes or so. But I promise you I won't go on for 25 or 30 minutes this morning. One of the reasons is there is a wedding later on today, and Suzanne asked if she could come in. So, not that we're going to rush Mass at all, but at the same time we will be conscious of that. And also then, if we have time at the end of Mass for community comments, we will, and if not, we won't. But I won't do that right after the homily today for the sake of time. But we do like to do that, just an exception, not the rule. There were a couple of events that come to mind this week that happened. One is the tragedy that happened in Aurora, Colorado, where I don't know if it was 12 or 14 people, I read all the counts, I'm not sure, were killed in the movie theater, and many others were injured. And the other is a terrible drought that is taking place in the Midwest with very high temperatures, and the watering holes are drying up, and the crops are dying in the field. Now, people will ask, why are these things happening? Could the shooter be mentally unbalanced? Was he possessed by the devil? Were these people just in the wrong place at the wrong time? What was the reason for this? Is the drought being caused because of climate change, caused by our use of fossil fuels and the other? Is it just a natural occurrence that happens every now and again where droughts occur? Could both of these events be caused because the country is in a state of immorality, and because people are saying homosexual folks should be able to get married, people are getting divorced, there's lots of murders around, prayer is no longer in the schools, we have a non-citizen sitting in the White House? There will be people who will believe that each of these is true. People always have a diversity of opinions about things. And that is something that the first reading refers to today. Who are the true shepherds? What is the true religion? This is a question people have asked through the ages. And I may say something that would be considered heretical today, but in considering religions, we have people who have various different opinions about what is true. I remember reading not too long ago a pamphlet given to me by somebody who came to the door. When I opened it up, they had pictures of Pope. The whore of Babylon, that's from the scriptures. If Catholicism is a false religion, we worship statues, that the bread is not the body of Jesus. Stop fooling us. And we have other people who say other things about their religion, and we say about them, if you're not Catholic, then you're not following the truth. You don't have the truth. You're not following the true religion. During the Second Vatican Council, it was sort of grudgingly granted that even non-Catholics can be saved. Of course, the Protestants think the Catholics can't be saved, so the Catholics think the Protestants can't be saved. And they grudgingly decided that, well, yes, believe in Jesus, even those who don't know Jesus. But as I said, it was discussed grudgingly because all salvation comes through the church. This is a belief. These beliefs have come down to us throughout the ages. People of different religions have even gone to war. You only need to read your history books to know that wars have been fought over religion. And if it isn't a war, then it's because of other things that have happened. In our own society, in our own country, if you read the histories of Catholic churches being burned during the 18th century. The 19th century. Well, it probably happened before that too. But, and there still is this. You see the different Islamic groups that fight amongst each other because I'm right and you're wrong. And the other one says, no, I'm right, you're wrong. And this is what goes on and on. So, the question is, I don't know what the true religion is. I think the true religion, all of us believe because of different forces in our life. They could be cultural. They could be just the fact that we were raised in a particular way in a certain religion. I met somebody the other night, one of my patients that I went to see, and I said, what was his religion? I asked the daughter. And she said, well, he was Episcopalian. And then we went to a Baptist church. And because he's sick, I had spiritualists come in and do whatever spiritualists do. And maybe we should call a priest. 4 different ways. Is one of them better than the other? Is one of them truer than the other? Well, the heresy that might be for me to say that I don't know which one is the best. But I think that each of us in our own particular way has to find what is the best for us. And I think of, for example, someone that all of us know, Christina, who used to be coming here, decided that she and her girlfriend would go to the Jewish temple because they thought this would be best for them. Who's going to argue that point with them? Because that might be what is best for them. What is best for us? What is best for you? What is best that will lead you to know God in your life? I hope it is here at the Eucharist. There is a certain attraction for us all here. We were raised in this. We love the liturgy. We love the statues. We love the Catholic incense or whatever. Some people don't like the Catholic incense. But we have all these different things that happen to us in our lives, and we have to make a decision. What is best for us? The only bad part of a decision is to not make a decision at all and to just remain somewhere out there. How can we make a decision? Well, I thought about that and I said, I have a pretty good introduction to this homily. Now, where am I going to go with it in order to give people something concrete in a direction? Because they're proposing a question. How about some sort of an answer? And the answer, I said, God, please let me know. And God said, well, take a look at the gospel today. So I did it. And of course, there we got the phrase, come away by yourselves to a deserted place and rest a while. Now, if you remember last week in the gospel, Jesus sent the apostles out, preached the word, healed people, cast out demons, and so forth. And now they're coming back to give a report. They don't even have the time to do that. So Jesus says, let's go to a deserted place. And next week we'll hear how people, what we heard today, they were gathering. But nevertheless, those words are really important for each and every one of us. That we all need to go to a deserted place so that we can rest a while and listen to the Lord. Because our lives are filled with so much noise. They're filled with so much distraction. It's much easier not to read the scriptures, for example, than it is. It's much easier for us to say, let me go on Facebook for a little while. And then a little while becomes a long while, and we don't get around to listening to the Lord. So we need to find our time to do that type of prayer that is not just words, but is meditation or contemplation. They're different. Meditation, we would take a scripture passage, for example, and think about it. Contemplation is just not saying anything, just sitting there and letting the Lord speak to us. But these are forms of prayer. And this is what can help us to discover what is important and what kind of faith we should have. And it can deepen our faith, and it might lead us to something else, but it will help us to listen to God. That deserted place It's sometimes hard to find that deserted place. But there are times in our lives. I like to think a lot. I turn off the radio in the car and just think about different things while I'm doing that. Sometimes it's just that we're in the bathroom and nobody's going to bother us in the bathroom, so it gives us time to think. It may sound silly, but on the other hand, there are times that we can do that. And they have to, I think, fit into our day. Because if we say, well, I'm going to take 10 minutes today and it's going to be at 6 o'clock, and nobody's going to be able to bother me. And if you have the discipline to be able to do that, I say, yeah. But I don't have the discipline to do that. And I don't think a lot of people have the discipline. And if they do that, all of a sudden, what's going on? Oh, the phone's ringing. So we need to find the moments to listen to God. God will speak to us in many different ways, in many different times. But all He asks us to do is to open our minds and our hearts so that we can find the true religion and the true way for each of us. And I'd like to give you just a distinguishing factor that I think is important that the Scriptures give us as to how we can tell which is a good religion and which is a bad religion if we're going to follow the Scriptures. The First Testament, the Old Testament, I think is based upon faithfulness. So look for faithfulness. We heard that. You remember those who came to Bible discussion, we talked about the prophets and about God's calling to obedience and God's calling us to be faithful to Him. We see this throughout the whole thing, the whole Scripture. If you're not faithful to God, then all of a sudden bad things happen to you. Moses had to be faithful to God. The other prophets had to be faithful to God, and that's what the Old Testament's about. So that's one judgment. The second is in the Second Testament, the New Testament. Jesus told us, love God and love your neighbor. So the Second Testament, the New Testament is based upon love. And if you don't find a call to faithfulness and you don't find a call to love, then you are following a false way, no matter which way you follow, whether it be Christianity or Islam or Buddhism or anything else. If you don't find those characteristics, then they are not what God is all about. Because God is not evil. If you find something other, then you may be worshiping the devil and not God. So look for faithfulness and look for love, and then you will find your heart and your faith. We'll just take a moment to reflect and peace and silence and listen to God for a moment.